can you tell us a bit more about this season's work and like what are things that we're supposed to look for to understand which season that we're in? And if we are in one of those unpredictable winters, should we be trying to get out of it as soon as possible?
It's a good question. I'll start with winter because that's a season I've had a lot of experience with, unfortunately, because the season of winter is challenging as we're going through it. But the gifts that I've gotten from those winter seasons, whether it be death of mom when I was 20 or the market collapse when I was in debt $130,000 with a 400 credit score near bankrupt, or the season of a 7-year relationship ending, or the season of miscarriage of our first child or IVF. I mean, we could go, I feel like my life is an example of what it means to navigate winter season, as fortunate or unfortunate as that might be. But what I have found is there's 3 approaches to winter, the season of unpredictability. Way number 1 is what I have learned for myself, which is to create an MVP, a minimum viable product that has the least amount of consequences, because I know spring always follows winter. So it always follows winter, and it's just how long is the winter season going to be? So it's just, I want to have the least amount of consequences for when I get out of the season. I at least have enough energy and enough poise and focus to plant some sort of seeds that I could recover from the season with. So for me, when we were in the hospital, as an example, it was, can I do 60,000 steps a week? And can I journal? Like, can I not even journal? I didn't even feel like writing. I wanted to read my affirmations. It was called Dad Activities. And I made a list of like 50 activities I was looking forward to do with my son when he was in the incubator, to kind of give me an opportunity to move my body, because motion creates emotion. And for me to kind of have this, painting this vision for myself of what I get to look forward to in the future. And that was it. Everything else was bonus. So that was a strategy number 1 of an MVP. Number 2 for winter is to try to shovel the snow as the snow is coming down. But we obviously know the strategy there is trying to work our way out of the winter season, which is only going to fatigue us for when spring comes around. So if we know spring eventually comes and then we're fatigued from winter, we're kind of beat the crap out of us. Now we don't have the energetic capacity to really plant the seeds that we want to plant in spring. So now we're just kind of like, we've grinded ourselves down to a part of ourselves that we really can't. Maybe we're at like a 30% capacity versus a 90% capacity. We're not rejuvenated, recharged in a way to really be intentional. So that leads into number 3, which is a complete paradigm shift, which says, oh, this is winter. Let me go get some skis and sleds and just enjoy this snowstorm, right? And that is a complete different shift that is very challenging for someone to adopt, because it is finding the gift in the moment. A lot of times the winter for me has been so painful and challenging that it's really tough to find the gift in the moment. I find the gift after the moment. But if there's a way to find the gift in the moment and turn it into a gift, to enjoy it as much as possible and find this as this new circumstance is actually a really great blessing, that would be an optimal way to navigate winter, but often it's easier said than done. So that's winter. I could jam on the other 3 unless you kick it back to you.
Well, I'll take a moment to kind of go into that winter space, because strategy number 3 is very interesting. And call it my action bias or my hustler bias, and maybe that's some things I might have to investigate within myself as well. But there's always a fear for me to look at that third option, because I'm like, oh, does that mean I'm like distracting myself? Does it mean I'm being lazy? And there's a lot of labels that I put into doing those kinds of activities in the moment of a winter season. Is that something that I still need to keep a pulse on? Are there different types of activities that would be considered a healthy version of it or an unhealthy version of it?
I think the situation is the boss. Because there's distractions and then there's healthy distractions. Who said that? Phil Mickelson, the golfer, he said, I had the tendency for addiction and for habits, but there were healthy ones and there were unhealthy ones. The unhealthy ones was when I wanted to go to the bar and drink with my friends, but the healthy ones was when I wouldn't leave the golf course until I sank 106-foot putts, and I would intentionally miss the 98th putt. So that way I had to do it all over again, because I wouldn't leave the course until I made 100 in a row. So it was a healthy habit, but at the same time, it was still an addiction. But there's a healthy version of it and an unhealthy version with it. I think the awareness, only you as the human will know number one, is it an actual addiction, or is it a a habitual pattern to like distract ourselves or numb ourselves from feeling? Number two, is it healthy or unhealthy? And number three, the awareness of, is this actually a numbing mechanism so I don't have to experience the actual pain of the season or the uncertainty of the season? Only the human can really tell. And that's kind of that inner work that I would invite during a fall season. So the fall season, I guess I'm kind of going backwards here, but the fall season is the season of self-reflection and introspection, because we've bared the fruit. We're not going out hunting or planting anymore. We got what we went. We got the kill. We got the fruits. We have the money. We got the reward of whatever it is that we were pursuing. We got. Now it's taking that time to, like, number one, enjoy it as much as possible, but then number two, conserve the resources for that winter season, making sure we're investing the money the right way and conserving it the appropriate way. And that's where we sharpen the axe a little bit. Prepare, this is where we might like develop our skills, develop our intuition. This is where we might do some, coaching or learning or practicing or role play. Like, that's that season of fall, which is a lot of strategy, inner strategy, business strategy, like those types of approaches. I love fall season. A lot of people love fall season, but they don't take the time because they feel like, to your point, oh, fall, I feel like I'm lazy. I'm not grinding. I'm not working so much in the business. I'm lazy. That's not the case at all. We're working on ourselves and on our business in a fall season, because too many people get stuck in the summer, which is grind, focus on the one thing, get the result, which is a great season, is very important. But what happens is they just keep moving the goalpost. So it's like, I hit it, and instead of going into a fall season, they're like, let me just move the goalpost to just continue work towards a result. And that's that summer. See, summer's easy. Summer is like easy to understand because most entrepreneurs just stay in that summer season. So I don't have to elaborate too much on that. But the spring is, again, similar to a fall, where it's like, this is where a lot of reflection, journaling, but this is where I'm planting the vision more so. So I'm like, these are the steps I'm taking. This is like marketing, a season of marketing and putting feelers out there, brand development, market research. This is like, I know this new product or this new service or this new initiative or this new project. Just making sure that in spring, the number one focus that I would invite someone to have is, keep in mind that whatever fruit you want to bear in fall are going to be planted in spring. So if you want a business that does not require you to be the bottleneck, you need to build that business in spring, so that way in fall you can reap the rewards. Because if you set up a business where it's like, everyone just call me, I just want to make as many sales as possible, then in fall, when you try to go on vacation with your family, you're like, everyone's calling you to make these sales, but you set up a business to make money, not necessarily a business that could have time freedom. So using this example, being strategic in spring is going to be important to kind of vision cast a little bit of what you want fall to look like. So I love the seasons analogy. Jim Rohn has his book, The Season of Life. This is just my spin on his philosophy and something that's kind of served me for the better part of a decade or more.
Thank you so much for listening to the Selling with Love podcast. We have some previous episodes you can tune into right here. And if you prefer the short form content where you get to the point in under 10 minutes, we do have a ton of clips from our best episodes that are being shared on this channel as well. So pick which one supports you the most. And of course, thank you for liking, subscribing, and of course, selling with love.